supremacy. And with this particular video, I want to talk about how Kanye West's mind has been recovered as police state property. His mind actually belongs to the police state. It belongs to the global white supremacy agenda. He deviated a little bit. Maybe it was the opiates that he was on, the medication he was on. Who knows? He deviated. They don't let you make it to a certain level without your mind becoming property of the state. You sign over yourself and your soul in exchange for fame, money, connections, networks, etc. He sold his soul. You have to do that. You have to sell your soul to Satan, to the devil, to truly succeed within that matrix reality. Bottom line, you're only going to make it so far without getting down on your hands and knees and bowing down to Massa. This is a reality. He deviated from that and tried to do some things on his own. Was very rebellious. He thought he could make it in spite of the initial agreement that he had with the Illuminati, with the white supremacists. But he found out that his mind would soon be recovered. His whole mental breakdown was him being rehandled. Him needing a new handler to put him back in check so he can put what he's really supposed to be doing in perspective, because he got off track. Donald Trump has become his handler. That whole mental illness spell he went through was him going under deep mind control and his mind being recovered as property of the state. Now he's an Illuminati puppet. He's set up to do their agenda. They had to program him harder than anyone else because he rebelled. So they really had to put it in on him. They really had to program him. And now he is doing his job. He's doing what he is supposed to be doing in the bed with them. He's supposed to be pushing the white supremacy agenda. Back when he said Bush don't love us, he was deviating. They allowed him to get there. They allowed him to get to that position for a particular purpose. To play a specific role. All of these so-called leaders that are mainstream are supposed to lead the herd back to the herdsmen. They're supposed to man the human farm. Keep the cattle herded together and moving in the right direction. That's all you're going to get from them. Yeah, they deviate for a little window, for a little second. But they brought on back home to where they belong, from where it all starts. So he's officially, his mind is state property. He is the white man's bitch. And he is cooning and buffooning to no limits. To no limits now. It's sickening. It's disgusting what we see coming from Kanye West. Almost unbelievable. A 360 degree, no, 720 degree change. The opposite. He tried to break out of the programming and he broke down. Because the programming was that strong on his damn mind. And you all say you want to get in that matrix and do something and achieve some things. And if I can just get in there, and if I could just get the money, and if I was in that position, I would help and I would do this if I was them. But in order to get there, you must sell your soul and go under deep mental programming. You must give up yourself And if you do not, you will be sacrificed, like Tupac, like Prince. You will be sacrificed if you will not give up your soul. Whitney Houston. They want your soul, and you must do what they say you need to do and how you need to do it. Michael Jackson. They want your soul. And in him, we're seeing it on a macrocosmic level. But even with you, you want to be successful in just maybe some smaller levels. You don't want as much fame and as much money and much wealth and billionaires on your Rolodex. But you have to give up a little bit of your soul for what you want. And once you do, you cannot go back, because they lock in on your mind. The gateway to your mind is through you, through your desires, through your greed, through what you think you can gain. And that's their doorway to take control over your vessel and clone your consciousness. We're talking about some of these rappers being clones. They're cloning people's consciousness now. They don't need to even clone you physically. They can do consciousness transplants on your ass. Especially if you are already weak, you already desiring what this material world has to offer, you already desiring Babylon, you already weak. So they can transplant out your fucking mind and turn you into somebody else and have you on their rat race, playing in their maze and playing by their rules and playing their games, and you'll forget everything you knew and everybody that you knew. You won't be the same on the other side once you go through all of it. When I get there, I'm going to do this, and when I get this amount of money, once you get there, you will forget who the fuck you are. You will totally be lobotomized. That's what's happening to Kanye West. You cannot have them both. There is no good in the devil's world. It must be destroyed. If you see good in his world, you now will do the bidding of the devil. You'll become one of his demons and one of his demigods. If you see beauty in his world, you will be seduced into being a servant of evil, a servant of illusion, of Maya. There's no good in his world. You must do it outside of his reality. You can't lust over his world and think you're going to build a righteous kingdom and you're going to manifest truth and you're going to manifest power outside of the elite and the powers that be, outside of the wicked. You have to give up their world, because you will have to exchange your soul for what you want in their world. You're going to have to be transformed. It's not going to come easy. Just like you have to die to enlighten to the spiritual world, you also have to die to Babylon as a spiritual being and become a soulless entity and to function wholly in that artificial reality. Your self has to die. Your soul has to die so that you can totally only exist as a sim in their artificial world. Then they make you up. They tell you what to say. They speak for you. They put thoughts in your head. They implant your consciousness. And all you get, you only show up. The only bit of you left is the pleasures that you experience in their evil world. The pleasures that you get of the moments of fame and acknowledgement and notification and notarization, notoriety. And that just that little egotistical bill that you get, the egotism. That's why you see some of these individuals, you know, like Trump and like Kanye West, they so damn narcissistic and egocentric because that's all that's left of them, because you have to be to sell your soul for what the Illuminati has to offer you, for what this wicked world has to offer you. You have to be very narcissistic to put it all on the line and give up who you are just to be noticed, just for attention, just to be recognized, just to be relevant, just for a guaranteed ticket at a ringside seat in hell. You have to be a narcissist or very egotistical, because no balanced spiritual being is going to give up their soul for moments of attention and acknowledgement and for an artificial life, to pick their life off the rack, off the clothing rack, to select their life like a microwave dinner. Nobody's going to give up their soul to be cloned and have their consciousness transplanted to play the tune of the piper. Nobody's going to do that unless they are really narcissistic. They really want to be somebody so bad, and they manipulated by their ego, and they lust for this world. They don't want to be nobody. Their biggest fear is that they're going to be nobody, and they're not going to have no value, and they're not going to be successful. Live up to that illusion of what success is. They fear that so bad that they want to sell their soul just to be living in an illusion that they were somebody when they really had no principles and stood for nothing, which made them equal to nobody in the end. Because they don't stand for anything. They do what the elite want them to do and say what the elite want them to say. The only real dimension of human beingness is the ability to be principled and to take a stance. And those who stand for nothing are nothing. And these puppets don't stand for anything, because they just want wealth and fame and attention. They're glory hounds. And they give it all up. But for a minute they realize what they gave up. And they say, damn. They have just a little epiphany, and they say, you know what? Damn, I was going to do something. You know, I know the truth. I knew better than that. I was raised better than that. And they try to go against, but the contract has already been made. And that's where the mental breakdown and the nervous breakdown and the alter ego and the bipolarness comes from. And the schizophrenia is two aspects of themselves fighting, because they've already made a contract that trapped their soul, but their soul is trying to get out to express truth. And both of these aspects are fighting against one another. And it looks like bipolarism and schizophrenia. But it's the world self, the artificial self, versus the real self fighting. But the artificial self has trapped the real self. And the forces of evil is imprisoning the real self. And within the vessel of the body, while the transplanted consciousness operates as the old entity, doing the bidding of the elite and of the Illuminati, of the Draconians and the Reptilians and other entities. But I don't want to go too deep on that. I just want to touch on this, and I'll just simplify it. Kanye West is now the white man's bitch. King Noble Black Supremacy signing out.